and thank you so much for being flexible with us. We're welcoming you to the national exhibition here with us. I'm going to move on over and pass it over to Anna.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning for some of you. I would ask how y'all are doing, but this is a webinar. All right, so welcome everyone. We are so glad to have you with us today. Today, you will support our scholars as they pitch their projects. The national exhibition is the capstone experience for Smash Academy. And over the past 3 weeks, 6 weeks for my scholars at Spelman, scholars have worked in teams to build upon ideas that they developed in their computer science workshop classes to present a project based on their CS pathways. And today, the teams have prevailed in site competitions involving over 300 scholars. All right, and so next slide. All right, so here's what you can expect from our programming today. We will hear from our wonderful speakers, cheer scholars on as they pitch, and then close out with some words of encouragement, followed by the presentation of prizes. Next slide. All right, so first up, I'd like to present our esteemed founder and board chair, Dr. Frida Kapor-Klein. Frida Kapor-Klein is an entrepreneur and activist focused on organizational culture and diversity. She co-founded the first organization in the U.S. to address sexual harassment in 1976 and Smash.org in 2003, which provides the resources and support to ensure that underrepresented students thrive in STEM fields. As a partner at Kapor Capital, Frida invests in seed stage tech startups that create positive social outcomes. She is co-chair at the Kapor Center in Oakland, California, which strives to make the technology ecosystem and entrepreneurship diverse and inclusive. Frida serves on startup and nonprofit boards, including the NAACP National Board of Directors. Frida and her husband, Mitch Kapor, are co-authors of Closing the Equity Gap, which identifies how to create wealth while simultaneously addressing the inequalities in startup investing. I'll hand it over to you, Dr. Klein.
Anna, thank you so much. Can everybody hear me? Good afternoon, good morning, good day. This is such a happy moment for me. While there's a bit we can all get discouraged about going on in the country, whenever I participate in these events, when I see photos and videos of what all of you as Smash scholars and staff are engaged in, I know we're gonna be okay. So welcome everyone to the Smash National Exhibition. It's incredible to see the event that is always filled with so much energy and talent. I started Smash before all of you scholars were born, more than 20 years ago. One big idea. What if young people could have early, sustained support to thrive in science and technology and engineering? At the time, it was clear to me that too many students with talent, with drive, with vision weren't getting access to the experiences, to the mentorship, hands-on learning that all of you need to enter and succeed in these fields. Today, SMASH is a national program thousands of scholars have been through since 2004, and we're growing every year. And we hope that we are activating all of our alumni as well. We are proud to operate residential programs on the campuses of some of the country's leading universities, UC Berkeley, where I went, Spelman and Morehouse in Atlanta, Northeastern, and University of Michigan, to name our current wonderful campuses. These campuses provide a real-world experience, immersive, giving high school students not only the technical skills and the training you need to succeed, but also the confidence, the vision, and providing role models of people who look like you, who are just a few years ahead, many of whom are SMASH alumni themselves. We want you to have the confidence and the vision to build bold futures and help this country. The National Exhibition, as I mentioned, is one of my favorite moments every year, seeing scholars pitch such innovative ideas that can really fix real problems. AI-powered chatbots, community-focused apps, watching your creativity come to life. These projects aren't just theoretical or academic. Many of our scholars have gone on to launch after the program, like Limitless, an app that one of our Spelman alums developed to help young people engage in civic activity. This event today shows us all what's possible when we invest early and stay with our scholars, cheering them on every step of the way. To the scholars today, you're already building your future. Thank you for your commitment, for your passion, and for your dedication. We can't wait to see where your work takes you next. Thank you to our university partners who are crucial in this effort, to all of our supporters, our donors, our volunteers, our SMASH staff, and especially our scholars. Can't wait to see what you're all going to present today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Klein. We all appreciate you. Next slide. All right. So for Smash has been around, as Dr. Klein stated, for 20 years, which my scholars love to remind me they weren't born yet. And we also wanted to spotlight in 2018. You can see here the Morehouse Scholars back in 2018. And they recently celebrated a 100% college acceptance rate, and also photographed here the 2024 NAACP and SMASH Youth AI Innovation Lab, which 79% graduated with STEM degrees. So real cool stuff there. Next slide. All right, so guidelines for today. Each group will have, excuse me, each group will have 5 minutes to present. And so teams from each site will pitch, and then we will have a 10-minute break after presentations before proceeding with awards and recognitions. Today, we are kindly asking that you do not post in the chat while scholars are presenting. This is to support them and ensure that they can focus on their presentations without distractions. So I will be timing each of you. Again, you will have 5 minutes, and I won't come on and like be rude and tell you that it's time to wrap it up, but you will hear Kim Possible, which sounds like this. And that means that your time is up. So without further ado, next slide. We will start with the University of Michigan up there in the Midwest, and then we'll head over to Northeastern, and then down to the South, Spelman and Morehouse, and then over to the Bay at Berkeley. Next slide. All right, so first up, we have Smash Michigan, and their project is Illuminate. And I'll start the timer as soon as you start speaking.
All right, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us?
All right, cool.
Yeah, they can.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Zahid.
And my name is Marzouk.
And this is our website, Luminate.
So what is it?
We created Luminate in hopes to inspire students to achieve academic excellence by broadening their scope in the field of STEAM. Luminate is a STEAM-based website that provides many resources so that students can figure out what their next step may be.
Our mission and vision. Sorry. At Luminate, we envision a community where students are not afraid to take actions and apply themselves in the real world. Our mission is to ensure that every student receives a meaningful education in the fields of STEAM. We encourage students not only to pursue academic excellence, but also to explore the different STEAM opportunities available to them.
Next slide. So here are some of our key features. When creating our website, we had to keep in mind our audience. Since we are focused on childhood and teenage education, we included many bright colors, vector arts, and engaging interactive backgrounds in order to not lose the attention of our audience. Like mentioned before, we included many STEAM resources. We also intended to create a very accessible website. Thus, we used accessible features like large fonts, white text, color aspect ratios, and a translation option. Lastly, we have a donate option to help fund our future projects. Next slide.
So this is our sitemap. We used a hierarchical structure for our website. The homepage is the central hub with clear branches leading to the other key pages. With this design, our goal is to produce and organize navigations for all users from teens to adults.
All right, could you click on that link to our website?
The hyperlink.
Okay. Thank you. So this is the homepage of our website. If you can see it's super interactive, super busy. If you scroll down, there is all the way down. Yep, and that learn more section, there is a kids site. If you go up just a little bit, sorry. Could you go up a little bit? Go up a little bit. A little bit more. A little bit more. There it is. The blue section. Yeah.
Yeah, can you
That's
click that?
a link to our kids site. If you go all the way, you can click on it if you want to. This is the official STEM organization website for kids. If you go back to our website, if you go up a little bit, you can click Get Started. This is our mission and vision and all the fields of STEAM. You could click on one of the letters and it'll take you to our activities page. And here is links to all the different programs in each different field. They have encouraging messages so that people can know why they would want to go into these fields, why they should learn about it. If you click on the More section at the top, yep, there's a way to register for our newsletters, for updates on our website, and there's also a donation option. All right. You can go back to our slides now. Thank you. Next slide.
The challenges we faced. Although STEAM sounds like a simple idea for a website, it took us a long time to land on the idea. Many other ideas were scrapped before we found what truly meaningful to us. We also had a difficult time in designing, as we had to make sure that our informational website kept our audience engaged without overloading them with text or information.
The second phase of difficulty came during the content part. By far the hardest part of this project was personalizing our website. We didn't want to copy other people's ideas or make another boring website. We had to make something that felt like an authentic expression of our desire to enrich students' education and illuminate their path to success. Finally, Wix in general isn't easy to collaborate on, as only one person can work on it at a time. Next slide.
So how can we change it in the future? We plan to add, like, in the future, if we work on the thing, we'll add interactive STEAM quizzes or puzzles, fix that donate button so that the donation really works. We can add some banking accounts, another thing. We can create a guideline for high schoolers, a path, explore different resources for non-college options, and most importantly, network with other schools, college to promote our website. And finally, starting our own STEAM site camp in the future.
Excellent. With Luminate, we're not just sharing knowledge, we're sparking futures.
Let's keep lighting the way forward together.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much, Luminate. All right, so next up we have team members. Is it Kaylin Maxwell and Divya at Michigan? And I'll start the timer as soon as you start speaking.
All right, good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Callan. My partner is Divya. Our project is environmental justice, where we'll be exploring temperature, vegetation, and air pollution using satellite data across Michigan counties. My name is Callan Maxwell. I go to Waverly High School, and I'm really interested in technology policy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Divya Nima, and I go to Novi High School, and I'm really interested in satellite data, data science in general. Next slide. Okay, so just kind of like the main reason behind our project, Michigan's poverty rate is actually higher than the national average, and 26% of our population is actually minorities. And so me and Callan, as both minorities and Michigan residents, we wanted to explore how these environmental factors interact with low-income and minority communities in Michigan to see what policies Michigan lawmakers could implement to help support these low-income and minority communities we have here. Next slide.
And so through our research, we examined temperature, green spaces, minority percentage, poverty percentage, and how these factors were related. These are our research questions that led us to our overall question, which was, what do these patterns tell us, and how can we use this information to influence future policy? Next slide, please.
So one of the biggest challenges we faced with this project was the fact that the data sets that we were trying to use, they simply didn't exist. And so due to this, we had to actually take initiative and create our own data sets. And so we had to use real-time satellite data to calculate the concentration of counties in Michigan. And so just a few things we looked at was carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide, which again, for these, we calculated using satellite data, the average concentration per county in Michigan, as well as NDVI, which is something that measures essentially the vegetation per county, again, using real-time satellite data. Next slide. And the next two factors which we explored were temperature. And so again, we calculated that per county in Michigan. And for the minority and poverty data that we had, we collected that from the US Census. Next slide. Callan, I think you're muted.
Shoot, that's my bad. I apologize. This is our data set map, which you can see has all of our data that we use to create this data set we use to gather our conclusions. So on the far left, you can see like all of our counties. Percent, it stands for the percent minority population. Mean CM stands for the mean concentration of carbon dioxide in a specific county. And then mean SD stands for the concentration of sulfur dioxide in a specific county. Next slide, please. While we were creating our data set, some of the challenges we faced were we had to create our own data set, which neither of us had done before, and it took some trial and errors. And we also were dealing with raw satellite data, which was a bit difficult at times. For instance, the temperature was scaled up, and so we had to scale it back down and then convert it from Celsius into Fahrenheit, which was just a little bit tedious and took some time. Next slide, please.
And for our data analysis part, we analyzed our data using two main methods. The first one was using scatter plots, and the second one was using linear regression, which is a type of artificial intelligence. And we'll get into our conclusions in the next slide. So the main conclusions which we found were that with counties with higher percentage of minorities, they generally faced higher rates of poverty and worse air pollution. And another interesting thing we found with our linear regression conclusion is that as the temperature, if we had the vegetation or the sulfur dioxide, we were actually able to predict then the carbon monoxide per county. And that really showed that this data is very connected and it has patterns, and the patterns that we're observing are not just isolated incidents.
So for some next steps we could take when using this data is looking into equity-focused clean air laws, green space initiatives, and polluter accountability laws. We know that larger corporations often take advantage of minority and lower income communities, and for that reason, we should implement some of these initiatives to make sure that no one is being discriminated against or being having to deal with things that they shouldn't have to deal with. And then if we wanted to dive deeper into this data to see how it's really affecting people, we could add some health incomes, like integrate data sets on asthma, birth defects, hospital visits, or life expectancy by counties in Michigan to strengthen our case for health disparities. Next slide.
And these are all the data sets we used. We mainly use satellite data provided by NASA and the European Space Agency to then transform into our data sets. And next slide. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, y'all. All right, next up, we have Northeastern. Also, I wanted to point out the fact that our scholars were in data science class for 3 hours, Monday through Friday. So it's a lot to just condense, a lot of information to condense down just in 5 minutes. So super proud of our scholars for pulling that off. All right, so next up at Northeastern, we have Mood Bloom. And again, I will start the timer as soon as you start speaking.
Okay,
Tristan, do you want to do it? Start.
Is my camera on? Yes, it's all right. So for our capstone project, we were interested in the issue of mental health. We noticed how busy and overwhelming life could get sometimes, so we wanted to create a simple space where anyone could pause and reflect on how they were feeling and build small habits for their emotional well-being. That's when we made Mood Bloom. Next slide. Next. All right. There are three main goals of Mood Bloom: breaking the silence, easy access, and validation. Break the silence is offering a space where everyone could breathe and be open to themselves. Easy access is that so anyone, anywhere can access Mood Bloom. And validation, reminding everyone that their feelings are valid and this is a safe space for them to reflect on. Next slide. We did a few interviews for a general idea of how much people actually journal. And next slide. The first person we interviewed was Thomas, an executive at the tech company Red Hat. What we asked him was if he journaled and why or not. He responded with that he didn't journal much because of his messy handwriting and he had other ways of connecting to himself. Next slide. The next person we interviewed was Elodie, our financial literacy teacher. What we asked her was, what was her first experience with journaling like? And she said that it was tough at first, but it got easier later on. Next slide. Then we interviewed Ludney, our site director. What we asked her was, how has journaling helped her process emotion or stress? She responded with that it was very therapeutic and that it helped her see how much she's grown over time. Next slide. And lastly, we interviewed Shannon, our 2 and 3 financial literacy teacher. We asked her if she often reflected on her daily decisions and thoughts. She responded with that she really likes reflecting because it helps her grow and learn. And I'll let Jackie take things from here.
Next slide. So these are the takeaways that we really got from those interviews. We thought about journaling, why or why not, breaking the barrier and how you can be open with yourself, pros and cons, is it really worth doing like all the effort to journal, and importance of reflection. Next slide. So we conducted a quick survey and we got 209 responses, and here's the data. Next slide. So we asked our target audience or demographic what gender they were, and this is our data. Next slide. And we asked them how often they reflect on their thoughts or do they journal at all. And people usually rarely do this. So we were like, maybe this is a step back, or should we really continue doing this? And then next slide. And these were the benefits that people really talked about and how they can gain clarity and stress, or they can gain clarity and it helps them relieve stress. Next slide. And we made other resources that we can quickly go by. Next slide. This is our Instagram. We just made it. Next slide. This is a little screenshot from my phone about a little mobile thing that we set up with our website. Next slide. And then we had a little mailing list too. Next slide. And this is our website. It's linked with the header, our website. So this is our website. It's a journaling website. When you first log on, there's a quote thing and it says start your journey, and you can click explore and that'll take you to a little page there, and we can click get started. And we have a toolkit, past entries, and a start button. So we're gonna press start first so we can quickly put in an entry. And can you put in like just like a spam of letters so we can just see how it works? Yeah, and then the date. And then if you scroll down, there's a submit button. And then it'll take you to your entries list. And there's already a few entries in there from examples. And you can click any, you can press view. And it'll take you to a little entry with the back button. And we have a resources page on the top right.
And this is just a bunch of resources for you. And we also have an our missions page and an AI chatbot on the journaling page if you were to go to that. If you scroll down a little and then all the way down, and then a little up, and then that's our chatbot. And you can help ask it for prompts and other things. And yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank y'all so much, Mood Bloom. Next up, we have our team, another team from Northeastern, and this is from the Wix design class. And I'll start the timer as soon as you start speaking.
Cindy, I just did want to say that there are some transitions on the slides. You can just click through until the end of the slide, and this will be able to, we'll just cover it as we go. All right, so hi everyone. We're excited to present our final project where we investigate how AI affects student learning. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm a rising senior at Belmont High School.
Hi, I'm Jaslyn, and I'm a rising senior at KIPP Academy Lynn. Next slide. AI in education has been a controversial topic. It has bridged the gap between vast learning inequalities. However, it continues to encourage over-reliance on AI.
So that leads us to the big question, where AI is replacing human work, how can we ensure it supports rather than undermines? So we set out to see how we can use data science to investigate current trends among student usage of AI. Next slide.
And these are just...
Go back. Back one more. Keep clicking through it. Rather than next page, you have to click on the slide itself. Yes. Keep doing that 3 times. Okay. Keep going.
And these are just a few questions that we explored in our process. Next slide.
We used various functions to clean our data. With this first line, we found that our datasets did not have any missing values. Next line. We found that lowering stripped made all our strings consistent. Next. And we also dropped all unnecessary columns. And finally, we used describe to find certain outliers using standard deviation and max and min values. Next slide.
We used the various functions of matplotlib and Seaborn in order to best visualize the data. Next slide. Additionally, we learned regression analysis to find correlation between 2 variables, as well as SciPy to calculate the Pearson correlation coefficient. Okay, next slide. We'd like to showcase just one of the data analysis we did. We looked at average aptitude based on session time and usage frequency, and as you can see in both, there's a high negative correlation. Next slide. And next slide. Okay. So we concluded that not all AI usage is equal and that longer use of AI did not improve learning outcomes. So
those who use AI with no clear purpose and those who with more time spent using ChatGPT actually hindered their learning. Does that mean that you shouldn't use AI for learning? No, what this means is that people are using AI wrong. Back one slide, sorry. Jazzy?
Through our research, we found that AI can significantly improve one's learning as long as you are using AI as a tutor and not a shortcut.
Next slide. We interviewed an industry professional, an MIT graduate who has recently begun to focus on rebuilding education. And as you can see, AI is the future of education.
Next slide. We'd like to introduce to you our mission of bringing responsible AI use through CoThink.
If you can click on the website, we'll talk through it briefly, but if possible, Jazzy, can you send the link in the chat? You all can peruse on your own time. So our homepage shows our mission statement as well as an opportunity to participate in our survey. Can you click on our research? This goes through all dataset analytics that we did. If you scroll through them all, we did a lot of them, so feel free to scroll through them on your own time. And also at the bottom, we have survey results, which include all our insights based off our survey. And finally, at the bottom, we have testimonies from various users across the world. And finally, on our topic page,
we began to educate the public on why this topic matters by showing them the numbers. And if you scroll down, you'll see that we teach the public how to use AI correctly. From the do's and don'ts. Scroll really fast. Okay, and then we'll just skip through it. We have our process. Could you click on process? And we have our code uploaded if you click there. Okay, and this has all our code if you ever want to scroll through it and then go back to the website. And can we see AI study bot? So goes to the bottom, click launch. To the top. Click launch. Okay, so unfortunately we thought we'd be able to showcase this, but you'd be able to browse your files and drag and drop upload files there, paste your study guide, and it has 3 functions to generate flashcards, which you can copy paste into Quizlet, summarize your notes, or teach you problem solving, which is probably our biggest feature, which is meant to highlight critical thinking over and all right, if everyone has the link, you can feel free to peruse on your own time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing job, you ladies. Very, very good job. Next up, we have Spellman, the NJ crew, which is Caitlin Alexander and Jaslyn Wilcox.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you guys hear me as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is our presentation, how to secure over our passwords.
So our research question was, what structural features of passwords, such as the length, character type, and category, are most predictive of strength and resistance to common cyber attacks? Next slide.
We collected 3 different data sets using reliable websites. You can go to the next slide. Our first data set was from code.org. It was already in an easy to convert .csv file, which made it simple to use and included things like password, ranks, categories, and strength. You can go to the next slide. The second data set was from Kaggle and had more technical details like passwords, length, strength class, entropy, and crack time. And can you go to the next slide? The third one, also from Kaggle, was labeled strength. Even though we didn't use it in our final analysis, it still helped us understand how password strength was being measured. So cleaning the data. We didn't have to clean the data because the 2 data sets we used were already well organized and didn't have any missing or inconsistent values in the columns we actually needed. And because we didn't end up using a third data set because it was too small, but if we did use the data set, we would clean the data, we would have looked for missing values, duplicates, and made sure everything was in the right format, like checking that the numbers were actually showing up as numbers, that categories were labeled clearly. We also want to make sure that the time units were consistent. For example, if passwords and crack times were listed in days or seconds, we will make sure everything converted into 1 unit. I'm going to the next slide. So this is the graphing data questions that we use. We used code to analyze the data and generate graphs, and that helped us clearly answer each of these questions.
So our first question was, which password categories have the highest average strength scores? As you can see, this is a bar graph of the average strength scores, and the graph is a little compressed, but the highest average strength score was found in the nerdy pop category. Next slide. So the next question was, does password length correlate with crack time? And as you can see, it is an upwards trend in the password length. And as you can tell that the crack time steadily increases when the password length increases as well. Next slide. So our next question was, what percentage of passwords in the data set can be cracked in under an hour and under a day? And in the graph shown, it's like a small bar graph, 40% of passwords could be cracked in under an hour, and over half of the passwords that were graphed could be cracked in under a day. Next slide. And the next question was, does password length correlate with strength? This is a weak positive correlation in the graph shown. The blue dots represent the individual passwords that were plotted, and the red line is the correlation line. And as you can tell, the strength plateaus around 0.8, but generally when the password length increases, then the strength of the password also increases. Next slide.
So this is our challenges. One of our first challenges was just figuring out how to structure the project, where to begin, how to organize each part of it so it made sense. Another big part was making sure we chose the right data sets. It wasn't just about finding any data. We had to find reliable sources that directly helped us answer the questions we were focused on. Sometimes we would start analyzing something and realize it didn't align with our goals, so we had to pivot. We also had to be intentional about staying on track. It was easy to get sidetracked while coding, and because coding is so repetitive, or testing different things that looked interesting but weren't really related to our core questions. Lastly, oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. So what we found is that longer passwords are usually stronger, but length alone doesn't guarantee security. A 20-character password made of like simple words can still be cracked fast. So the real difference in passwords comes between complexity, like mixing different symbols and numbers in different character types. So it's not just about how long a password is, but mostly how it's built together. And so combining length and complexity is what really makes a password harder to break. Next slide. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, NJ Crew. Yay, so proud of y'all. All right, next up we have River Witherspoon from Wix Design class.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I do not have a presentation like everyone else, but I will still present. So hello, my name is River Witherspoon, and I will be presenting for the Wix Design. So for our class, we had to create a website based off of a passion of ours, and mine happened to be creative writing. And so the inspiration for this was this quote here: "If there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it." And that is the idea for this website. So could you scroll down? So the purpose of ghost fantasy writing is to help people who are unable to use their creative writing talents to make something, and I shall make it for them if they so wish. Over here is some links to different works that I've created in the past. I can leave a link to the website in the chat if you want to read them yourself. And then could we go to the about? So in this, it just tells you about how creative writing has always been my personal escape and how I wish to make it your personal escape as well by bringing it to life and hoping to help other authors who are unable to share their works publicly can be able to get theirs out to a smaller community or just a community in general. And then over down in this section is where you can tell me your information and what story you wish to see, and I will send it to you either personally or add it to the website yourself. And then to this last part of the gallery. Yes. Does that not work?
Sorry, River, I think it's bringing up the same about piece.
Really? I don't know why it's doing that. Hang on. I can send it to you if that works. I just tested it and it worked it fine. That's weird. There we go. Okay, so this part is the inspiration station, which is essentially to help people look for any sort of idea they want to come up with a story, because I know I struggle with finding inspiration to write. So this is to help people find inspiration for whatever style of story they want to see. So you can just scroll down to the different variations of common story tropes you would see. And then down there in that section, you can input the image into that link, and I will add it to the website whenever you wish. And then in the written inspiration, you can just speak which you want to see if you can't find an image for it, and that will be added as well. And that's it.
Thank you so much, River. Beautiful. All right, cool. Next, we are going to go right next door in the AUC, also known as the Atlanta University Center, to Morehouse. And we have the Geek Squad from Data Science. And boys, I will start the timer whenever you start talking.
All right. So this is our project on video game sales data analysis. My name is Patrice Latumpa.
My name is Alvin.
And my name is Magic Boy.
Next slide. All right, if we can, next slide. Next slide. Okay, so Magic, you can start up. Actually,
Hello.
I got it. So what are data analytics? Data analytics is basically just the process of examining, organizing, and interpreting data to just uncover useful insights and patterns. And Magic can go over why it matters.
So this project matters because game developers decide what types of games to create, publishers understand which platforms and regions to target, and gamers discover trends in their favorite hobby.
So basically, this is the data cleaning process. So we analyze over 16,000 games, sales with over 100,000 sales. Here are all the steps you can kind of see. It's a lot to kind of go over, but to basically sum it up, we kind of fixed the data. We organized it. We also created an app that cleans the data for us, and basically we'll kind of show you it later. But it's a long process, but this is basically all the steps here you can see.
Next slide. So our first research question was, what was the most successful video game genres globally?
All right, so this chart right here, it shows the market share by genre. So our key findings were that action is the top selling genre globally. And there's a list right here on the left that shows the average sales by genre. And we can see that sports and action and shooters are mostly dominant. Next slide.
So this chart is just a genre popularity heat map, and this is just showing that region matters depending on where you're selling your game, especially in like the North America region and the Europe region. North America and Europe, they both favor action and shooter games, but Japan favors like role-playing and simulation games as well. We can go to the next slide.
Okay, so the next slide. This is research question number 2. What publishers have been most successful? It's pretty much like an upside down pyramid. You're going to see how it progresses over time. Next slide. So these are the top 10 game publishers. I can see EA and Activision are top 2. Basically, let's go into what a game publisher actually is. So basically, a game publisher is the person that you'll go to if you have a game or an idea, and they'll fund it, they'll market it, and everything and anything of that nature, right? So the big names are EA. You guys know about EA Sports. It's in the game. Madden, 2K, anything of that nature. They're really huge on that. And a lot of game developers tend to go to those type of companies because they're most successful. We further also concluded that the success rate of a game also is determined by like who actually makes the game.
Okay, so this graph right here, it shows the innovation versus the market share. So just a few examples would be sports. You can see that the innovation freedom is way to the left, which means there's not a lot, but the market share is still a lot, meaning that even though you can't really do too much with sports, it still makes a lot of money.
So this is just showing like the publisher genre specialization. As you can see, like EA, Activision, and THQ, they all have specialization. So EA specializes in sports games, Activision specializes in action, and THQ specializes in action and like racing games as well. So our third research question was, what factors correlate with commercial success? So commercial success, we really just went off of what makes a game like popular and what makes it sell. So we did character count, move count, special moves, and the Metacritic. We can go to the next slide. So Metacritic basically explains like it's like Rotten Tomatoes, but for games. And this graph shows that character count doesn't really relate to sales success. You can see that games like Super Smash Bros. Have like 80 characters, and Dragon Ball Z have like 160 plus characters, but those sales differentiate as Super Mario Bros. Like has more sales. We can go to the next slide. And this is just showing the Metacritic. So Metacritic also has a factor because it creates bias within each genre. Metacritic, if you have like a high Metacritic score, then you would likely have high sales and vice versa. So we can go all the way to the conclusion. So in conclusion, we found that action games dominate global sales, showing mass appeal across regions. EA leads the publishing market with a 21.2% share, and innovation does not equal popularity. So data-driven insights like these empower developers, publishers, and investors to make smarter and more targeted decisions in the never-ever gaming landscape. And that's our presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Geek Squad. Y'all did amazing. All right, next up we have Evan Mobley from the Wix Design class and Morehouse.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Hello, my name is Evan Mobley. Good afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. I'm a rising senior at Duluth High School here in Georgia, and this is the website that I've made called Cybervigilance. I made this website with the intent to inform people about cybercrime that results in financial loss while trying to keep the information quick and easy to absorb. So to get into it, I started the website with a statistic which basically says a cybercrime resulting in financial loss occurs every 39 seconds. This was really just to hammer the point home that this is a real issue and it does occur. I also do have two quotes at the bottom. Security used to be an inconvenience sometimes, but now it's a necessity all the time. And it takes years to build a reputation and few minutes of a cyber incident to ruin it. So you can click the dive in button right here. Like I said, I wanted to keep the information quick and easy to absorb, so it could just go straight to the page. I've listed 4 types of cybercrime that result in financial loss: card skimming, bank and crypto scams, phishing, and SIM swapping. On this page, I tried to list bullet points, so there wouldn't have to be a lot of reading involved. Probably still is. I couldn't tell you. But if you go down to the bottom here, there is also videos just in case people don't want to read. And I chose to include these just because, I wanted to cater to all audiences. But this was basically just my way of how I wanted to inform people about this issue and get information out. On here, you can find how they occur, how to prevent them, and then how you can spot them as well. At the bottom of the page, there's an article linked to different types of cybercrime and more than these, but you don't have to click it. It's just there for people who want to read up more. And then I also included 2 buttons at the bottom. Is my link safe? This will take you to virustotal.com where you can scan a URL or file to find if it has malicious data. And also, have I been pwned? This is a website that allows you to check if your email has been contained in a data breach. So if you scroll up to the top and go to gallery, this is where I included the 4 different types of cybercrime resulting in financial loss that I covered. Card skimming on the top left, phishing on the top right, SIM swapping on the bottom right, and bank and investment fraud on the bottom left. I also included a contact page just in case people needed to reach me, but my whole goal in making this site was to keep it fairly simple. I just wanted to get information out quickly, and that's pretty much all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Evan. Perfect, perfect. All right, so now we are going to take a short break. So just 10 minutes for you to stretch your legs, refill your Stanleys. But be sure to come back and join us for the remaining presentations and closings. You don't want to miss this. So I'm going to go ahead and start my timer now. And again, if possible, we'll summon you back to join us on Zoom. So I'll see you all shortly.
Suva, is that a candy bar? You're still gonna get diabetes from that.
Oh my gosh, my grandma has diabetes, and because of it, she almost got her foot amputated.
What?
Yeah, it turns out that diabetes is one of the leading causes of lower limb amputations because diabetics are more susceptible to nerve damage from pressure imbalances.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And neither did my grandmother. Because of limited access to information about this issue and preventive measures, she had to take expensive antibiotics for an entire year. This is what inspired me to create a device that prevents amputation by detecting irregularities in pressure distribution. Next slide. Is it? Okay. I call it soul status. I wish there was a way to market this device and inform more people about this issue, though.
Well, we're already a step ahead of you. I'm Shruti.
I'm Karen.
I'm Carol.
I'm Fiore.
I'm Suva.
This is soulstatus.com.
Okay. So what drove us to create this website? Well, for our project, we wanted to address how day-to-day people can be diagnosed with diabetes. We all have a history of diabetes within our families, and some of our family members suffer from its symptoms. As a result, we want to spread awareness of diabetes to others, as this is a very important condition to be aware of. In addition, that's what drove us to create a product in order to alleviate the more severe symptoms diabetics face. Next slide.
What is diabetes? Diabetes is when an individual's glucose or blood sugar levels are higher than normal. There are two main types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is when the body cannot properly create insulin at all, while type 2 is when the body cannot create enough or the insulin created in their body does not work. When there's no insulin in an individual's body, it causes there to be too much glucose, and excessive glucose can lead to clogs in the bloodstream, leading to other health issues later on.
So, Soul Status is a product designed to analyze and monitor pressure distribution data for diabetes. It is made up of an insole and force sensing resistors that collect real-time data. This data is processed by a microprocessor known as Raspberry Pi. The processed information is then transmitted to a companion app, which allows users to access information to help them figure out preventative measures they should take for better health. Next slide.
So how it works. Soul Status prevents foot ulcers by warning the user of irregular pressure distribution while standing, reducing lower limb amputations in patients with diabetes by preventing ulcers caused by excess pressure. Our website also educates more people about this issue, allowing them to be more mindful about checking for injuries.
So what is the goal of our website and product? Well, we've designed our website and product to find early signs of diabetes to prevent individuals' health from progressing to worsening symptoms, because oftentimes treatment is much more expensive than prevention. This would also help reduce perceived risks and fear of serious complications in individuals with diabetes or in danger of getting diabetes. And it will also make daily check-ins more accessible and affordable for those who need it.
Next slide. In order to accommodate for all those in our audience, we made sure to put image descriptions and large text into our website. We put in descriptions so that those who do not understand what the image is representing can be provided with an explanation. And we also put large text on our website so that people who are hard of seeing are still able to see it with no issue. This is especially helpful for the elderly, who we view as a main target audience because they're higher at risk for diabetes. Next slide.
To make our website more visually appealing, we added some functionality features like a video carousel to add videos people can learn more about diabetes and images to reference the product. We also added a navigation bar, transitioning button links, and an easy layout.
These are our sources. Next slide. And just to preface, like, our website was made completely from scratch using HTML. At Berkeley, we learned how to use HTML along with Bootstrap to include styling and JavaScript for the functionality of our website. It spans over 1,500 lines of code with 5 HTML pages and 1 CSS page. Next slide. So this is a demo of our website. As you can see, it's interactive with CSS transitions. When you hover over the button, it shows that interaction. We also have a video carousel with working links. As you can see, it links to a YouTube video educating people about diabetes. Within our other pages, once it scrolls back up, you can see more of that demo. There's also information about diabetes for our user to see. Finally, product information, and we also have a contact page. Thank you.
Thank you, Soul Status. That's really good. I love Twix, by the way. All right, next up we have Scroll Scope. If you would kindly make your way to the stage.
Hi everyone. We're excited to be at Nationals today, but we're even more excited to introduce you to Scrollscope, a tool designed to help users understand how their screen habits correlate to sleep and stress levels. It was made by us students with a goal to utilize data visualization of our digital routines in a personal way and encourage changes towards healthier lifestyles.
Okay, my name is Guadalupe Mora. I'm a rising junior and I'm from Salinas, California.
My name is Angela Hong and I'm a rising junior.
My name is Winston Huang. I'm also a rising junior, and I'm from San Francisco, California.
My name is Sadi Mudassir. I'm a rising senior and I'm from Fremont, California. Why we picked this topic? As someone who struggles with mental health challenges like depression and anxiety, I've often found myself losing track of time, especially when it comes to my sleep and how long I spend on my phone. This project was a chance for me to reflect on those habits, better understand their impact, and start building healthier routines. I've become more mindful of how staying connected can sometimes mean disconnecting from what really matters, like rest, balance, and well-being.
Also, for me, since I definitely use my phone way too much, I was talking to an ex-Yale admissions officer once, and she said even if you're on your phone for 2 hours a day, that's 14 hours a week. And with 14 hours a week, you could have wrote a book, you could have built a coding project, got a job, used the money from your job, and traveled across the world. Those are all the things that she has seen on college apps that got in. So the takeaway is that a problem with excessive phone use is that it just takes away your time from discovering your passion, your interest, and a possible new hobby. Next slide.
So, what is the problem? Many people today spend a lot of time on screens, and this can lead to increased stress and anxiety. Using devices too much often disrupts sleep, which in turn lowers mood and overall well being. What makes this even harder is the fact that most people aren't fully aware of how their daily screen time affects their mental health. Without clear, personalized information, it's tough to make smart changes that improve how we feel. Next slide.
We realized that people don't need another app to tell them that they're on their phone too much. They need something that helps them understand why it matters. That's exactly what our solution is built on, making it easier to understand how our screen habits are affecting us without overwhelming people with complicated data. We included personalized feedback to highlight potential mental health risks based on your usage patterns, as well as offered simple suggestions for offline activities so users can actually build healthier digital habits. At its core, Scrollscope takes something complex and makes it interactive and friendly. Next slide.
In this visualization, we saw a clear trend. Stress stays low with under 6 hours of screen time. After 6 hours, stress rises sharply. It shows a clear link between high screen use and higher stress. In the graph below, mood improves most with 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Less than 6 or more than 9 hours lowers mood. This highlights the importance of balanced sleep. Next slide, please.
So comparing sleep to screen time, we learned that they have opposite effects. The more time you spend on screens, the more stressed and drained you feel. But the more sleep you get, the better your mood is. Too much screen time also cuts into your sleep, so it creates this kind of loop where more scrolling equals less rest, and less rest equals worse mood. Next slide.
So Scrollscope lets user enter their daily screen time and sleep hours to get personalized feedback. It provides simple, easy to understand explanations that show how these habits connect to mental health. Next slide.
The random activity generator offers quick ideas to break the cycle of phone scrolling. It encourages fun, real-world experiences that reconnect users with the moment. The simplicity of the generator is a gentle push to try something new and take a refreshing break.
So looking ahead, we want to make this app website more interactive. So gathering real-time data from users to see how screen time and well-being shift over time. And we're also thinking about adding tools like mood journaling and habit tracking to help specific people reflect and stay on track. And hopefully teaming up with schools and other youth groups to spread awareness, and we can all build healthier digital habits together. Next slide. So that's our link to our project, if you could click that. Yeah, click continue. So we were a data for Python, so we made all this through Python, and so immediately you're greeted with a like homepage where there's a short description, and it directs you to the tabs to the left. So if you could click mental health on the left. So you can enter your specific screen time and you can change it and it'll give you personalized notes. So if you have high screen time, it tells you that it's too high and like what's the causes. There's graphs to show that we talked about in the thing. You scroll down a little bit more. And we have like takeaways at the bottom. If you click activity really quick. So this generates a random activity. You can change it from light to dark mode at the top, and it gives you random activity. Every day there's a daily activity, and it's the same for everyone because we use like the date as like a randomizer. You can, depending on your mood, it changes. It gives you a random activity, and then yeah. So that's basically our solution, and we'll definitely add on to it like in the future. But I think we have reached our time. So thank you all for listening to our presentation. We're very grateful, and we're really proud of our project. We hope you guys feel the same way too. Thank you.
Good job. Perfect. Thank you, Scroll Scope. Wonderful job. Wonderful job. Alrighty. Alrighty. So thank you again, scholars, for all of your hard work this summer. I think I can speak for the rest of the program directors when I say that we are all incredibly proud of each of you, and just grateful for each of you as well. All right, next slide. All right, so we do want to take some time out to highlight our partners or a few of our partners who make all of this possible for each and every one of our scholars. And a special thank you to our lead partners whose transformative gifts sustain our programs and operations. So we have Golden State Community Foundation, we have the K-4 Foundation, we have Endless Foundation, we have NFL Inspire Change, TE Connectivity, and Henderson Family Foundation. If y'all can just drop some claps and snaps in the chat for them. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so next we have our program director of the Midwest region, Ms. Dominique Weston, who's going to take it over from here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, scholars. I was extremely impressed with all the things that you shared with us today. Again, my name is Dominique Weston. I'm the program director at SMASH Michigan and the Midwest region. I have the pleasure of introducing the Chief Executive Officer of SMASH. Jonathan Durfield is the Chief Executive Officer of SMASH and is responsible for designing, leading, and implementing SMASH's philanthropic development program through corporate, individual, and foundation partnerships. Jonathan believes that education is the greatest lever for change, especially for those furthest from opportunity, and has over 20 years of impact-driven outcomes within K-12 education. Prior to joining SMASH, Jonathan founded Veer Ventures to support disruptive educational technologies that benefit communities of color, served as Vice President of Development for the National Math and Science Initiative, successfully launched NORD and Angela Education's 100 million flagship campus, and was the founding director at the Inland Empire Economic Partnership. He obtained a master's in public administration from Harvard University and a bachelor's in political science from Pepperdine University. Please join me in welcoming Jonathan Durfield.
Greetings, everyone. SMASH scholars, donors, mentors, and community partners. What you shared today is nothing short of extraordinary. Each idea, each pitch reflects the innovation, the grit, and the brilliance at the very core of SMASH. This is what SMASH has always been about. exposing, inspiring, and preparing students to thrive in STEM and beyond. Once again, consider these incredible stats. 100% of our SMASH scholars are accepted to college, 98% show mastery in computer science, and 79% go on to graduate with STEM degrees or go into STEM fields, a rate that well surpasses national averages. Scholars, your ideas today represent the future of our shared communities. When I look at all of you, I see scholars who carry perseverance, vision, and leadership. Students who defy the odds and persist in the face of challenge and redefine the narrative for communities often overlooked. To our donors and partners, your support makes these futures possible. Your commitment is more than just financial. It's a beacon of belief in talent and often goes over unseen. Your belief is paying off in every scholar's success, so thank you so much. As we wrap up, scholars, remember this. What you've accomplished today isn't an endpoint. It's actually a launch pad. Own your creativity, keep pushing forward, and hold this community close to you as you move ahead. SMASH is not just a program. It's a lifelong support system with you every step of the way. Thank you for your energy, your vision, and your dedication. You are the future leaders of STEM, and we are honored to be part of your journey. Let's continue showing the world that what we together as a community can achieve together. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Everyone, if you were inspired by anything that you saw today, if you enjoyed watching the scholars present all their hard work, please join us and donate, volunteer, or help us in any way to smash barriers. You can visit smash.org to get started. Also, follow us on Instagram. We're active on social media and we would love to engage with you there. You can also subscribe to our newsletter. The links are in the chat. All right, before we go, I do want to quickly talk about Smash Virtual. Smash Virtual is a new online platform from Smash that provides students, families, and educators with early exposure to computer science, emerging technology topics, college and career readiness resources, and STEM career professionals. If you're an educator or a young person on the call and you're interested in learning how to position yourself for the jobs of tomorrow, today, today, then take a moment and sign up for this free program via the QR code or registration link. And lastly, I have the honor of recognizing the scholars that presented today. We are very eager to present the awards to our hardworking scholars. Each scholar who presented today will receive a $350 award for their representation of their respective sites. And we are so, so proud of you. Congratulations, scholars. Finally, from SMASH, all program directors, all sites, thank you for joining us at the 2025 National Exhibition. We appreciate you and we hope you all have a wonderful day.